Hello, everyone. Welcome to KSG India's Success Carnival, an initiative in which we sit down with this year's UPSC toppers and talk to them about their UPSC journey. We try to find out about their strategy and decode the mantra of their success. I am Almas, and I will be your host for this session. Today's session, we have a very, very special guest. We have with us Miss Ayesha. She has been a student of KSG Indore. She was part of our foundation course. And this year, she has scored an All India rank of 184. That is a remarkable achievement, Ayesha. Firstly, congratulations for this huge success that you have achieved. So,
Thank you.
first question is, what was your initial reaction? Who told you that you had cleared the examination, and how did you react when you first heard the news?
Ma'am, first of all, thank you for inviting me. And the first initial reaction was because there were some apprehensions that when will the result come. So I was pretty nervous that what will be the result date, what will be the time.
Hmm.
So in afternoon, my friend called me from Gwalior. His name is Hardik. He has been one of my colleague in this whole journey. So he called me and said that what's your result? What's your rank? So I was like, uh, result aa gaya kya? So he was like, yes, result has come. You should check your rank. And he told, tell me your roll number. I told him the roll number, and he was like, congratulations, you are going to win IPS. You have scored 184. I was very happy at that point of time that finally I could make it into the list.
Perfect. So I think this news might have been, with a pinch of salt because there was quite a lot of controversy, and your name was all over the news. Like everywhere you, open the newspaper, you open the news channel, everywhere your name was everywhere. So was that a bit of sort of downer for you that so much of success and with this slight controversy?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, it felt a little bit of uneasiness was prevailing all over. That finally you made it into the list after three consecutive failures in prelims, and you've made it into the list in the final, in first mains and interview. And you see that your name is getting attention for all wrong reasons. That this might be the fake candidate, this might be, and people are judging you based on that misinformation, and you know that you are true, but the people don't stop judging you at all. So a little bit of uneasiness was there for sure, ma'am.
But now everything is fine. We can vouch for her that yes, she is indeed All India rank 184. So I think, yeah, it was slightly, when I read the news, I felt a little, sort of same feeling as you that, this should not.
Yes, ma'am.
You're such a deserving candidate, and you have rightly pointed out three prelims being unsuccessful in that and then clearing it. That is quite a remarkable achievement. So my next question would be like, how did you keep yourself motivated? Because this is a long haul, a long journey, and candidates tend to give up. And many candidates have that potential in themselves, but they are not able to push through that wall within themselves. So, what would you advise someone who is going through a similar journey as you, a successive PT being unsuccessful in that? How would you advise them that how do they stay motivated?
Ma'am, my journey has like prelims was the most toughest part of my journey,
Right.
and being that part, second and third prelims that I gave, I lost. I could not clear the cutoff by point 0.3 and point 0.6 marks. So it was very demotivating that you could not clear by just if you wouldn't have attempted one question. So that was very demotivating at certain point of time. But ma'am, I pushed through because my father said to me that many of the cricketers are there. They score 90 plus marks and they could not score century because they are under performance pressure. So you are also getting into the same thing that you are underestimating yourself. So what happened was that I could not clear prelims for in 2020 and 21 by point 0.3 and point 0.6 marks. So it was quite demotivating that you could not clear, and if you wouldn't have attempted one wrong question, so you might be in the list. But what I knew was that I have the potential of clearing mains. And because I used to write answers daily and used to get checked by faculty members, so they were like, no, you write good answers, just prelims is the one stopping you. So that motivated me, and my father said to me that many of the cricketers score 95 plus scores and they could not score a century because they are under performance pressure. So he said that you are also under performance pressure, that uh, this might be wrong and you are under evaluating yourself. I used to go into the prelims hall thinking that I don't have knowledge at all. And that is the one thing that took a stage on me. And I really feel, ma'am, that well, people say that UPSC is unpredictable, you is the unpredictable. So I really feel that she is the confidence that you have to take there in the exam hall to crack that unpredictability.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you shared the words of your father with us, because our parents and our family play a very big role in any of our achievement. So talk us through what the role your family, the support system around you, what was it like? And with every sort of unsuccessful attempt, was there a were any sense of doubts creeping in your mind, in their mind, that okay, maybe I should try something else, maybe this is not what I'm cut out for? So talk us through about your support group, how it helped you.
Ma'am, like after one failure, like 2019, I did not prepare it at all. So I was like, yeah, this attempt does not count. And
Right.
2020 attempt was the one that I studied a lot but could not clear. So that attempt also I did not count that. Okay, it's fine that people fail in their first attempts. So in 2021, when I could not clear it, and when it was a COVID period prelims, so in November the results came. So I October the results came, and I was so demotivated. I started looking at the roofs that I could not clear, and I do not have what it takes for clearing UPSC. So what happened was that when I could not clear 2021 prelims, so I was totally demotivated, and I was like that I do not have what it takes for clearing UPSC. So I started looking at the roofs and all that, what all I have done with my life. I could have taken a job and I would have been more secure over there. So my mother also said to me that you don't have any option. You are built for this thing. You have that personality to actually help people, to actually have social contacts, and uh, in all they were like that you are meant for this thing. And what is stopping you is your own questioning of yourself, that I could not do it. In the hall I used to what happened with me was, ma'am, in 2020 and 21 both, I took a preconceived notion that the prelims will be this and that, the questions will be this and that. So when it did not match my predictions, I got very nervous that what is all this. And in 2021, I questioned what I was actually thinking. So when I overthink about that questions and not guaranteeing, not judging my subconscious mind, I changed about 15 answers at the end of the moment. In last 10 minutes, I changed 15 answers that I initially thought were correct, and all of them went wrong. So it was very, when I came and just saw and just checked all the answer keys, and I thought that I was not only cracking the cutoff, but also a lot of 15 marks will be 30 marks. So it was like you're not only at the border, but you're at par the border. You're at a very safe distance you were, and you just questioned yourself and just made a very silly mistakes over there. So that I took in 2021, 2022, sorry, that I have to just believe in myself that whatever I'm thinking at the first instance will be the correct answer. So that I took in 2022, ma'am.
Yeah. So you've shared very valuable sort of advice for a lot of aspirants struggling out there, because self-doubt tends to creep in once you have been unsuccessful a few times. And that is, I think, the major reason. Knowledge is not sort of the problem here, because you've been preparing for so many years. You have the knowledge, but confidence and self-motivation is something that a lot of students struggle with. And that is something very valuable you shared. And I'm sure people going through this interview will definitely find the motivation that you found, and that is why you could clear the hurdle, the biggest hurdle that you were facing. So how did you realign your preparation in each successive attempt? you're talking about PT, so let's talk about your strategy for PT, the role of answer, test series and everything. How did you analyze your performance? How did you make sure that the biggest hurdle you were facing, how did you make sure that in this attempt you crossed that hurdle?
Ma'am, first of all, I made my mind that whatever I am preparing is enough. If you are having standard books at your end, you have studied them well, you know what the content is there, and you are not getting while you practice the test series, and you are able to understand that yes, this is the twist that they have added to the options. So I think so that when I analyze that yes, I have pretty much the knowledge needed. Like I think so in UPSC, ma'am, knowledge is 20% and the other is your confidence that you take over there, because you have to analyze that what options they have created wrong in PT. So when I took this confidence at the table, so I think so I was able to analyze that yes, this is the tweak that I have to find in the options, and this option will get eliminated by the same. So that helped, and I really think that the most important key that I switched into 2022 attempt was having consistency. Like I used to lack consistency in the past previous attempts, so I used to always feel that I haven't studied well, I haven't worked hard well. So when I made whole of the Google sheet that on this day I have studied 10 to 12 hours, so that is a successful day, and if I haven't studied, that is an unsuccessful day. So when I made that sheet and I analyzed that on the day of a day before exam, when I analyzed that past 4 months I haven't even had one red day, so I have done everything that could be done. So that also made me a little bit of more confident that no, you have put in the hard work, you have the data with you, that you haven't even wasted a single day of that 4 months. So that helped, ma'am.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of students in the initial stages of their preparation, they tend to ask their mentors and teachers, and I have faced this question myself from a lot of students, that ma'am, how many hours do we study? So I tell them that there's no secret
Yeah.
number that I could give you, but still they would like to hear from your perspective as well. How many hours did you study at different stages after clearing PT? Once you started, if you could just share average figure, because that is a question that candidates are always very curious about.
Ma'am, I think so. When you are studying for such a tough exam like UPSC, you don't count what you have earned. Just keep on compiling them. Like,
Mhm.
don't count the number of hours. Minimum, it should be 10 to 12. I really suggest that minimum 10 to 12. Effectively, if you are giving, you can crack the exam. But in means, ma'am, when the exams were approaching and there were test series on the every weekend, so I used to even did not count. I just used to just sleep, and there was just 1 hour that I used to give. That also had health implications. I gained a lot of weight during that. But ma'am, eventually I started giving 14, 16 hours, just studying for the whole day, not giving a rest. And if you want rest, just roam around and with a book. That I would suggest,
Mhm.
that something or the other thing you should be doing in that as well.
Definitely. And you have shared a very valuable advice for students that, make a sort of time box approach that, divide your day into slots and find out how many productive hours you're giving. And that will give you a sense of self-confidence that, you have put in so many hours that cannot go to waste. That should be a motivating factor. So very valuable
Yes.
advice you've shared with us. You've talked about that, spending so much time with books, you started to ignore your health, your mental health, that gets affected in this examination. So how did you manage your mental and emotional well-being during this preparation phase? And were there any particular activities or sort of practices that you adopted which helped you stay motivated and most importantly focused while attempting these test series and the mock tests, etc.?
Ma'am, during my whole preparation, my mother has been a pillar of strength for me. So
Mm-hmm.
what we used to do was that after dinner or something, when I was very like मैं थक चुकी थी उस
Okay.
time तक, very I was very like हो गया बस. So she was like कि just we will discuss what you have studied, what you are lacking. So like when in mains also, ma'am, I used to, it was very boring for her to listen, but she used to listen very enthusiastically that yes, yes, So I used to discuss with her like about when I used to prepare for general studies. So in paper one we have society, in paper two we have health and education. So I used to share with her that mama, this is and these are the datas and these are the problems that we are doing and these are the way forward. So she also used to give her opinion on that as well. That way forward can be this also, you can answer like this. So that helped me in also like reverse recalling, that you are recalling all the things that you have read, and also it helped as a mental strength it garnered, ma'am. Like when you used to share some things with other, this stress level comes down. So when I used to share with my mother, so it really helped a lot, ma'am.
No, excellent. I think your mother and your parents, in fact, they sound like really the rock behind
Yes, ma'am.
journey. They sound like truly the one of the biggest reasons behind your success.
Yes, ma'am.
What role do teachers, mentors, and an institute like KSG? What role did that play in your journey?
Ma'am, I have been connected with KSG since foundation course in 2017. So it really helped me that not only what to read, but not what not to read. So it really aligned my preparation that yes, this and this book should be preferred, and this and this book you do not need to read. Just have a selective reading. And value addition materials and the answer writing check provided by various institutes that help you in understanding that what you are lacking. Apart from it, Anshul sir from KSG has really helped me during preparation. Like when I told him that I will be clearing prelims this time, so he really helped me that yes, for mains you should be studying this and this. And Sir Khan sir for interview phase, he told me that yes, you are a very good candidate and you will be scoring 170, 180 plus, and I actually scored 180 in the interview. So it really built a confidence, the confidence that I say that I'm saying that confidence is needed for cracking this exam. That was also put in by an institute like KSG to me.
Wonderful. And what sets KSG apart from other institutes? What sort of why did you choose to become associated with? Because this is a very big decision, choosing which institute to make your partner, because it is a partnership. And so, what motivated you in that aspect to choose
Ma'am,
KSG?
value addition and the material provided by KSG are very good. Like during my college time when I was final year, I joined the test series of KSG, mains test series. So the answer evaluation was very good. They gave me like essay I wrote over there. So the answer, that repeatedly I'm saying that evaluation provided by KSG, the quality provided was very good. Like some things like current affairs, the provided about monthly magazines, they are very good in content, so I joined that firm.
Okay, wonderful. Finally, let's talk about more academic aspects of this examination. Could you we have talked about prelims in quite significant detail. Let's talk about mains, because I think you have pointed out that that was one of your sort of more advanced, areas. So, how did you? Let's talk about all the four papers, and how did you prepare for each of them? The resources, if you could share, or you could share the strategy that you adopted in preparing for those four papers.
Ma'am, I had a time approach that before mains, I have to revise each subject, each GS paper 3 times. And before that, I will also have one data sheet of each paper that I will be going before going to exam. I will be revising that so that I have that data in handy, reports and all the findings that I could gather. Were written on a one single paper, arranged as per the need of general studies. Like GS paper 2, you need a lot of Supreme Court judgments that could be help in that could help in your main answer writing. So for mains, what I did was, ma'am, that each paper I had one data sheet and fact sheet that used to have various data about surveys like National Family Health Survey findings, various reports that I can find, and like each paper had different resource and data that I used to repeatedly revise. so that it might help me in the final exam. And before exam also, before the each single paper, I used to revise it religiously, that yes, this data I might be using. Like in general studies paper 2, you should have a data sheet of Supreme Court judgments that you can use, the article number that you will be using in the final answer. Like when it was asked about president, it was asked in GS paper 2 that critically examine the role of president of India versus French president. So rather than just having a lenient answer, you can write about what part fifth has of our constitution has the provisions of president, article 52 to 78. So that would give an edge that you are having the data and now you are writing about the president. And apart from it, ma'am, various parts I used to refer. In that answer only, I wrote about the president and semi parliament system that we are having, the article numbers versus the semi presidential that they are having. So I think so that when I scored 119, so I think so that that helped a lot in general studies paper 2, ma'am.
And paper 3 and 4?
Ma'am, for paper 3, ma'am, I think so that paper 3 is very dynamic. So for that, I think so that I lacked the data that were required. So while I studied static portion that is needed, and it is very unpredictable, and because a lot of questions were from biotechnology, and I am not that particularly good in biotechnology, so I lacked in that aspect. But I think so that static portion and the data sheets that were involved really helped. Like the first question that was asked was the PPP model. So there is Vijay Kelkar committee's recommendation on the same. So just a summary, a quick summary read of that will tell you that what are the advantages and the disadvantages of PPP model. So I think so that not only just the static portion, but this reports, just the summary of that report can help you in garnering marks, ma'am.
Right. And the ethics paper, a lot of students tend to find that a little challenging. How did you approach it?
Ma'am, ethics paper, I think so that I scored 100 marks, which is, I think so, are not that good because I was expecting about 120, 130 marks. First is the option choosing in that period. What I did was that I played very safe and I took very simple topics out of that. And each and every, about 90% of the candidates wrote on the same topic. So whatever I write, however nice I write, it was reflected in some or the other answer. So I got very average marks in that. But when I used to give test series, I used to score 135, 140 marks, and I was pretty confident that not 135, but I would be scoring 120. But because of the topic selection, ma'am, it reflected in my marks that I had played very safe and they gave very safe marks to me. So that first of all is the topic selection in essay. You should be taking some of the challenging topics that you have ample knowledge of, not only just taking like any topic, but you have knowledge of that. Second would be, ma'am, in ethics and essay, you can use a lot of phrases like of Swami Vivekanand, that service to the country is service to the humankind. I think so. I am not getting it right, but it was in line of this. And the 7 sins of Gandhi you can use. So that can be very helpful. Like there is a quote that whoever controls media controls the mind. So these are various quotes that you can use. So I use them in ethics and essay, ma'am.
Yeah, definitely. I think what you've pointed out, a lot of students should keep a repository of quotes, data, facts that you can just, copy paste in your answers. Do not think about making things up at the moment because the time is really limited. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you, because you being from Madhya Pradesh, you joined KSG Indore, a lot of students in the initial stages, they fear that they have this dilemma that do we come to Delhi? Is Delhi the only place from which preparation can be conducted? How do you decide? Okay, I'll stay in Indore, I'll prepare, I'll stay at my home, I'll not move to Delhi. How did this decision come about?
Ma'am, I'm I'm a home person that loves to be around my parents. So when I decided that I will be giving UPSC, and when I did coaching in my third year in KSG, I had that confidence that the knowledge needed for the exam I have gained here. So I won't be joining any further foundational course. I have ample knowledge. KSG has provided me ample resources as well that can be used in final exam. So when I decided that I won't be taking a foundation course and there are various online courses that can be done. So I thought that I don't need to go to Delhi just for the sake of studying over there. It's about the will of person that takes him. Many people are in Delhi, they won't be studying and taking part in various activities. So I was like, no, I will be studying at home. I will be staying. I will be very true to myself that no, I have studied for this hours. So that was the thing that because I will be having accountability of myself. So I thought that yes, I will be preparing from home itself.
Yeah, and the benefit of associating with KSG is that the faculty is same throughout all our centers. So material, faculty, test, everything is exactly the same. It is just that a different center has been set up, so more convenient for you. So I think that also must have played a big part in your decision to stay at your home and be at the comfort of your family and prepare accordingly. Let's talk about answer writing. And a lot of students who are not very, well equipped with the techniques of answer writing, they think that, okay, mains is something that I will not be able to crack. So what advice would you give to students? How can they improve upon their answer writing skills? And what specific techniques did you adopt to clear mains in the first attempt? You have cleared mains, the first main gave you cleared it. So definitely you did something right. So, what was the sort of strategy you adopted?
Ma'am, first I also used to have very apprehensions that how shall we write the answers? There are too many questions and too many dimensions to hold. So what I did was that whatever answers I used to write, I used to have a flow. Like introduction and conclusions were always there, and conclusion was on positive note. That I was suggested by various faculty members as well. That the conclusion should be forward looking. It should not be pessimistic that you are not telling anything. So first is the optimism should be reflected in your conclusion, and also about what you can suggest the way forward for it. And when I did the answer writing practice, first I initially did at my home and used to write one or two answers daily for optional, and then for general studies when I completed my syllabus once. So when I used to write, so I was very confused that what shall I be writing. So for that, what I did was that I took out the copy of syllabus, two, three copies, and wherever I used to study, I used to keep that syllabus copy with me. And each thing that I used to study was linked to the syllabus. And in OneNote, when I wrote whole of the syllabus, I wrote each and every topic of the syllabus on OneNote, and data was gathered for that topic only. So whenever the question was asked, so it would be around the syllabus only, ma'am. For means that is the biggest advantage that you are having syllabus. So just have a copy of that syllabus and have everything associated with syllabus, so that whenever a question is asked, like when a question on health and education, so you have a data repository with you that you will be using such and such data, and you also have a preconceived conclusion that you might use it in the final exam. Like when it was asked about the old age that is growing in our country, the so I had the preconceived when I used to read society, so there is also one of the topic about old age. So I had that yes, we have such and such data, and this is all we can, but we also have a bright future, we have very good demography. So wrote the same conclusion in exam, so that helped, I guess, ma'am.
Definitely, definitely. Finally, let's talk about the interview stage. How did you prepare for it? Were you scared about facing the panelists? Were there any sort of nervousness before going to the interview? What was the state of mind like before the interview?
Ma'am, because this was my first interview, so there was already a nervousness present that how will I be able to tackle the questions. And given that my interview came in the third list, my interview phase was the third phase. So it gave me a lot of time to prepare, honestly. Like I prepared the DAF first of all very well, and the current situations. Like I did not used to have, because I'm an international relation optional, so I did not used to have just one source of information like India, China. So there are various the diplomat you can consider. the syndicates and the various ORF findings that you can use. So this all the fact that you are also correcting for means help in interview as well. It gives an enhance that no, she's not just bluffing, she's also having the facts for the same. So that helped in the interview phase, that I collected the data because I had ample time for the same. And first of all, apart from the knowledge that you take, there is the confidence that you have to show that no, I have been built for this exam, and I have been the most suitable candidate for the same service. So various IAS officers that I had met in my life, they resonate such a positive energy with them that you can just see them and say that they are doing very good in their districts. So that positive energy, I tried that yes, optimism should be reflected in my answers, the confidence and various things that I would like to do in life should be reflected there.
Definitely, definitely. And I think you as well resonate a lot of positivity, a lot of optimism talking to you. I can definitely get that sense. Can you recall any of the questions that were asked to you in the interview?
Ma'am, because I was given Honorable Chobe sir's panel, he first of all asked me about questions about ethics. He started with ethics like honesty. What does honesty mean to you? Do you want to be honest just because it pays? So these were the questions that he gave, and I was particularly suggested that you should read GS4 syllabus whole. What you have garnered the knowledge for GS4, it should be read for interview as well. So I was pretty prepared that yes, ethics answers might come. So I handled it. I think so. I handled nicely. And apart from it, the other panel members asked about like I'm an electrical engineer. So what subjects I wrote over there? They asked about that particular subjects, that what all are there in this field, and what future does it hold? The artificial intelligence in electrical engineering. What does the future hold for it? So these were the questions that were asked, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. What's the final lap of our interview? And I would want to ask you, what message would you want to give to a student who is maybe thinking of, starting their preparation, but is really scared because of the competition that there is? They're doubting themselves. They're not really sure if they want to, expose themselves to so much of competition. There's so much of uncertainty. What message would you want to give to that student?
Ma'am, I think that there are three pillars for success that can help you in achieving success. What I worked this time was the DPC. First is discipline, second is planning, and third is consistency. If you do that, you plan very well. That yes, and the planning should be as per your understanding of the same and your availability. Like if one is working and giving exam, so he should be able to plan about 6 hours or 8 hours, whatever he or she is available for the same. And as per the need of the exam, like I knew that before each and every paper, 3 times revision is needed. So the cycle I made was for each paper I used to give 15 days, like GS paper one, 15 days. So that cycle I maintained, and apart from that, ma'am, the consistency that you have to give. For discipline, ma'am, I suggest that you should be very dedicated for the same. That yes, I have to wake. If you have decided that you will be waking at 5, don't even make a 5 alarm. Just have that. You will be having what I used to do previously was I used to have 5:10, 5:20. So there was a lot of chances that I used to give myself that yes, after 5 minutes I will be waking up. But this time, what I did was that there was just one alarm that used to ring at 5. If you don't wake up at that point of time, you will be failing for the whole day. You will be managing the day horribly. So that I did that. You are only getting one chance for that. So that helped in discipline as well. So three pillars I would suggest: discipline, planning, and consistency.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Aisha. It was lovely to interact with you. I'm sure all the students in different stages of their life, in different stages of their preparation, they have a lot to take from this interaction that we have had. You have been really incredible in sharing all of your, strategies and sort of motivating factors. And I'm sure students who are struggling at this moment will definitely have a lot to learn from this session we have had. Thank you
Thank you, ma'am, for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to meeting you in person as well.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you for having me.